Yeah.
Statistically speaking, man, that woman that you with, you're not going to be with in 2 years. Even if you get married, 50% of marriages fail. So if you're just being realistic, the woman that I'm with, no matter how great the times is, no matter how much I love her, this is probably going to end. So let me just enjoy the day.
I hear it, but it sounds like it's some trauma-rooted things too.
But it's still based in truth.
It is.
How many women have you been in a relationship with in your lifetime?
3.
Each one of those ended.
Yeah.
And I bet you.
Okay, did you want to hear some more, or you good with that?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm with the guy about saying like this sounds like some trauma related stuff, and then he comes back around. His immediate response was, "Yeah, but the statistics, right?"
Yeah, facts.
And so this is what a lot of people will do is they'll take their own fear and pain, and then they will not want to feel that and want to create a barrier so that they don't have to have that experience again. And then they go to, some sort of scientific thing that gives them justification or plausible deniability to say, look, these are the numbers. Why, and I use that to strengthen their coping mechanism. Right. And this is what a lot of guys do. And you're like, oh man, I'm not going to fucking date women. Black Pill does this stuff. They're like, I'm not going to date women because all women want 6 feet and over men. Just look at the statistics on, the data driven from taken from dating apps. You know what I'm saying? So, and you look at the dating apps and the women are all like, I want men 6 feet and over. And it's like, yeah, but then why are dudes not 6 feet fucking?
Right.
So it's either like if you're in reality, you're in reality. If you're not, then you got to have like all this other supporting shit to make yourself feel safe and so on. And it's like, who cares if the shit ends? Like, there's nothing permanent in life at all, ever.
There you go.
Like, everything is borrowed. Everything. From every blink to every last breath, it's all borrowed.
We're all on borrowed time.
Yeah, so enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I think.
So let me say this.
I think like attachment
Justin,
is from fear of loss. Yeah. Now, I was just going to say that I think the attachment has to do with fear of loss.
I'm glad you came in with that.
It's fucking delay.
Is there a delay?
Yes, there's always a delay, Kay. I'm sorry, bro.
Y'all go ahead and talk.
Okay.
Y'all go ahead and talk for a second. Hold on.
No, finish what you were saying, Justin.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that a lot of people have difficulty with impermanence, right? And they will then attach to things and think, if I just have more control, then I'll feel safer, right? Exactly. And I notice this with a lot of the guys with the dominance training that I do. They think, oh, okay, well, if I have just a strong enough program, then I don't have to feel pain anymore. Right. If I control enough factors, I won't be able to feel pain. And women do the same thing. This is why you come across women who are into controlling so many things in life because they want to avoid pain. They're afraid of uncertainty. Right. And I think that one of the greatest things about being a man is that we can very easily settle into uncertainty and be comfortable. Because we're just like, yeah, I know shit doesn't always work out. It's happened a million times. So you can learn to be calm and even pleasant within uncertainty.
Right. Yeah. So the part I disagree more with the guy in the sunglasses, but I do agree. I think his view is kind of finite, and I think he is in a way running from hurt. Like you said, there's some type of trauma based in it. But I agree. See, the thing is that I agree in the fact that all relationships end universally, because that's why earlier I was talking about the revolving door of life in general, that we're all gonna get up out of here. We're all gonna pass on someday. So every relationship is gonna come to an end. So I agree with the perspective that every relationship ends. To me, is just that some relationships can end by death, or you could just break up next week. So it's all the same in that perspective. You understand? But I'm not. My thing is that I don't think men should be afraid of any relationship ending, because each experience gives you more information about yourself, period. So I think we should embrace all of it.
Not only that, see, I'll just say this about myself, right? I've been the lover of many women. Right. So even when it comes to, having profound feelings for women, I don't think guys should run from that. It's okay to meet a woman and you care immensely for that woman and that relationship doesn't work out. See, a lot of guys and this is, you know, probably especially true of our grandfathers, great grandfathers, so forth and so on, where if the marriage didn't work, they looked at it as a failure. I failed as a husband. I failed as a father because I couldn't keep my family together. I don't look at relationships ending as failing. I look at it as it ran its course in time. That person was meant to be in your life for that period of time. Now, what I do think is that people stay in relationships too long. I think some people stay married too long. Like I'll use a perfect example. When Steph Curry's father, Dale Curry, and their mother, Sonia Curry, when they was going through the divorce, and she was dating another guy, people were tripping, saying that's fucked up. And I remember saying, I'm like, they had a successful marriage. I'm like, they got 2 sons in the NBA who are both millionaires. They got a daughter who's dating an NBA guy. He's a millionaire. I'm like, they don't get in no trouble. You don't hear nothing bad about them. I'm like, they raised their kids to be upstanding citizens, and they divorced after their kids were full grown. They had a successful marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't look at it that way because they have this mindset, oh, but it didn't last forever. They were supposed to die and be buried next to each other in matching burial plots. Right? That's not real. That's not realistic. But y'all got it.
Right. Real quick. Shout out to Razor the Don. He said for the $4.99 super chat, he says respect to the game. Appreciate you.
One thing that put it in perspective for me was this movie, Jackie Brown. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Jackie Brown movie with Pam Grier and Samuel Jackson.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't see the whole thing. I saw.
Okay, there's a part where Robert De Niro, his boy, gets out of jail, and he goes, "Hey, you're going to stay with my surfer chick," and he has like this caper coming up, right? This gig that they're going to do to rob something. And while he's at the surfer's chick's house, Samuel Jackson leaves, and the surfer chick starts talking to Robert De Niro like, "Hey, we seem like we're going to be doing a lot of work. We should just take the money. Like, why are we doing all the work and we should just take the money, right?" So as soon as Robert De Niro gets with Samuel Jackson, he goes, "Hey man, you can't trust her. You know, as soon as you left, she started talking about taking the money and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Oh, I ain't gotta trust her. I know her."
I remember that scene. That shit was fire.
Yeah. Because just like when I left, you smacked, right? And he kind of looks at him like with a surprised face. He's like, "Yeah, I know you smacked." So right then, I always thought about that. Like, honestly, when we really, really start to know people or have an understanding about other things, stop putting a facade up like you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We know, just like you were saying, that you can't guard yourself fully from these relationships. It's a gamble. Now, as long as you prepare yourself, you know that, hey, this relationship could end at any time. Like cats that are married need to, hey, your wife could come home one day and you could have did whatever you thought was the rightest thing ever. And she could say, "Hey, I don't love you no more. I want to get out of here." And they're like, "Oh my God. No, relationships have the possibility of ending. And if you know this, that's what you trust. I'm not putting my trust in anybody else. Like I know a relationship can end. I'm prepared for it in my head already. Hey, we're doing cool. We're rolling, but it could end."
Yeah. I put my trust in reality, not in fantasy. Fantasy, we're gonna be together. Like in the Notebook movie, when the wife died, the guy died of a broken heart, like right next to her and shit. Like,
That's crazy.
Oh, the Notebook.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got it. My shit is tripping.
Well, that reminds me of another thing. See, well, because the destruction of guys has to do with their attachment and their emotional, the depth of their emotional involvement. So my question is, why are they doing it in the first place? Right? Because what's the great need? Right? This is like going into areas where we talk about guys falling in love and being in love and all that stuff. There's a like, I think with a lot of guys, I mean, after working with dudes for 10 years now, there's a lot of neediness, and it goes all the way back into relationships with mom. There's some either unrequited things going on there, like wishing they had a certain something from mom or wishing to continue what they had with mom. Right. So there's this thing, and there's a codependence developed then it's like Arrested Development, you know, usually young age, like under 10, and they never deal with that, and then it just continues on in the adult male, right? And it just comes out in different ways because he's a grown-up. And this is, I think, where the guys have this fear and this devastating pain when they break up with a woman. This is literally a woman who was once a stranger to you. They're not blood, they're not kin, they're not related to you in any way. Yet they've got a deeper hold on your emotions than your own family. Why?
Right.
Why? You know what I'm saying? So that just reminds me of this quote from well, yeah, but what that does, what the pussy does.
I mean,
to them.
It's deeper than that. Justin, I know I'm being a little facetious. It's deeper than that, but it's associated with the fact that those women have a vagina that they climb up in. But go ahead, Jay.
Of course. Yeah. Well, it reminds me of this quote from that show, well, the novel and the show Shogun. If you guys haven't seen Shogun, you have to watch this fucking show. It is incredible.
Dope series.
Oh my god, it's so good. So one of the main like character samurai dude, not the white guy, but the main Japanese dude, he says every man has 3 hearts, one in his mouth for the world to know, one in his chest for his family and friends, and a secret heart buried deep where no one can find it. And these dudes are connecting that buried deep secret heart with women. That's where they're making that connection, so that when that gets taken away or it breaks or it gets ripped apart or he has to leave or whatever, it creates this devastating emotional reaction. And it's like, that heart's not supposed to be connected to other people. Like, that's just for you, like maybe for you and God, and that's it.
Right. Real talk.
See, I need to watch Justin
too. I need to watch that shit. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's so good. It is. It is so good, man.
Dope.
You know, just the thing you was talking
and this
about,
is why Justin.
Go ahead, Zach.
My bad, real quick. And this is why I say a lot of guys, when they very first meet women, they give women just unabated, open access to them. Like you said, that third heart deep inside, right? That should be for you. Because here's the thing: when a woman comes into your life, a woman should not be able to bring anything into your life you can't do without. Okay, but a lot of guys, when they get women in their lives, they act like the world is going to end if that woman isn't there. And Justin, you said it plainly. That woman was once a stranger, and you were doing just fine. And let me just say this, and this is for both men and women, right? And this is for y'all to start living in reality and stop living in fantasy land, right? When everybody is single, right? Both you men and women listening right now, and the people that's going to listen on the upload. When everybody is single, everybody is already dating other people. You know you're meeting women that's dealing with other guys. Ladies, you know you're meeting men that's dealing with other women. So why is it when y'all get into a relationship and you find out that person is still fucking with other people, you act like the world is coming to an end? You met that motherfucker fucking other people. So why would you be surprised that they're fucking other people? Right? To me, I never understood. This is why, for me, I was never one of those guys that try and make a woman be sexually exclusive. Like, come on, girl, promise me. You know, that's my pussy, right? You ain't gonna let another nigga. I never do that shit. Because I understand that's her pussy. She just sharing it with me for the time being. If I'm in it for an hour, it's mine for an hour. That next second, if she want to share it with another nigga, it's his for an hour, right? That's how realistic I am, right? So what guys got to understand is that when you deal with women, you have to understand, this is what I was saying, and I'll pass it to y'all. If you think your dick will be the last dick that your woman samples, come on, bro. Be realistic. Be real. You know, y'all got it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, call in 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Go ahead and call in. The call is free for this show, so go ahead and call in, guys. Don't wait till the end because we can't be here all day. So please go ahead and call in.
Mm-hmm. I got 2 comments. One for just from Justin when you talk about the mother concept of them and their mom. And I feel like for most guys, that's the last time that they, in their head, thought they had unconditional love. Mm-hmm. You know, just unconditional love. But I don't like when people say, you know, our parents gave us unconditional love, because it's not true. Even that had conditions.
Mm-hmm.
right? It just does, because you made them a mother. You made her a mother, something she's been wanting to have happen, and she gave birth to you. You made her a mother. Now, there's time periods when we all know when you have kids that they'll come into your room, or they'll come home or something, and the joy you get from seeing them, from hugging them, from knowing that you're providing these things for them, to see them run around happy, that's the joy that you get. That's something that you get from it. So it's not unconditional. Like it's conditioned because they don't know they're doing it for you, but they're doing it for you, right? So even that to me had conditions on it, where it's not. There's guys out here, and more recently, this is fresh too. Like within the last 2 weeks, I know 2 cats that ended their life over breakups.
Dang.
And finding out that their mate has cheated, or their mate has moved on, and stuff like that. 2 cats that you wouldn't even think so, right? 2 cats that, by any standards, from one of them, from the standards, he was a pretty Ricky type dude. Should have been able to get any woman, the 6-pack, the hair flowing and everything. Ended his life because they couldn't get past the fact that this person that you chose, right? It wasn't like somebody said, "This is your woman." Somebody came from up high and was like, "Hey, this is your woman now." Like, no, you chose. You went out, you was at a club, you picked one, you guys just started getting along together. You guys had a time period. She had a time period on how long to date. If you date me more than a month, we're together now. And he's like, "Oh, okay," because the bottom is good and you look good. And now you're together, and now you can't see yourself or life without her, which is really massively, to me, the dumbest and the weakest minded stuff that I have ever heard of.
But I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But go ahead.
Yeah, but people literally go through that. Like they thought that this relationship was just never going to end. And I think that's the thing that let's live in reality. Like, look, it can be the happiest thing, but it also can be the saddest thing. And it's time to go.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, like it's
like if these are friends, if these are friends of yours, man, I'm really sorry to hear that.
No, it wasn't. One was somebody I know, and another person was a buddy of mine. It was part of his family member, and it's some crazy stuff where you look back and say, "Yo," and honestly, with the mindset I have, it's like, man, you feel sorry for the family. You feel sorry for the friends and whatever life situations that they put the rest of the people that are the close family members know. But then it's hard for me because mentally I'm looking at you like, dog, are you serious? Like, did you think your life ended because you caught her cheating? Did you think your life ended because she wanted to leave you?
But right there, Jay, okay, so and Justin, earlier we was talking about this deep thing. For what, and I can't help but to think that it's connected to the woman in her vagina. I can't help, because when your best friend doesn't want to be your friend anymore, do you delete yourself? Do you? I never heard of that. I never heard. You know what I'm saying? So why is it when a woman that you're fucking acts a certain way, you feel like, I don't want to be here no more? I can't help but because here's the thing. For whatever reason, guys are mentally and emotionally attaching themselves to the woman via her vagina. So what I mean by that is, if someone else tampers with the pussy, they feel deeply and mortally wounded. Like, another dick was in there? Oh my God. Right? And my thing is, and this is the thing, and I'm not condoning women cheating. Guys, if you believe cheating is a fireable offense, break up with the chick. But if a woman cheats on you, all she's doing is muscle memory. She's used to having different dicks, right? And I'm not trying to be, well, I'm kind of being facetious a little bit, but my point is this. If she cheats, all she's doing is what she's always done.
Right.
Fucking different niggas, right? I mean, if we strip back the morality of everything and people stop clutching their pearls and just look at the brass tacks of everything, this woman, she did exactly what she was doing when you met her. She was sharing her pussy with other dudes. So if you meet a woman under that pretense, right, and you find out she's doing the same thing, you're like, damn, bitch, you can't help yourself, huh? Right? It's over. You know, I mean, that's all I got to do. So, but and I think even with this title, why embracing your revolving door of women will set you free. And everybody spoke to it. Attachments. Dudes have unhealthy attachments to women. You think it's love. And let me say this, Jay Roman, let me say this real quick, and I'll pass it back to y'all. If you think about the fact that there are guys out here, women do it too, but we're talking about guys, deleting themselves behind finding out that the woman is cheating or that she's leaving, right? That means you are way too emotionally invested in that woman. So how does that even start? How do you get to that point where you're so emotionally invested to that woman that you make an emotional decision like deleting yourself? So let's go back to when guys first start getting with women. It's already starting in the beginning. You're too emotionally invested in a woman saying yes or no to you. You're too emotionally invested in having access to fuck the woman. So it makes sense that the longer the relationship goes on, the more emotionally invested you become, to the point where it's so unhealthy that when that relationship ends, you feel like your life is meaningless. But y'all got it, man.
Right. Well, this is why this is exactly why this topic is so important. Guys, call in 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Go ahead and call in. This is exactly why this topic is so important, because this topic also, I think it gets into the issues of how guys deal with breakups. You know, they and the issue with breakups. Okay, I think we got somebody. Hold on. We got I can't even. Oh, we got 205. You're on live with the Manhood. Is a Skillset show. Name, age, city. How can we help you?
It's good, man. Stephon, 31, Birmingham.
Okay, can y'all hear him?
It's a little muffled, but it's all right.
It's kind of
Okay,
low, like it's
y'all hear me?
muffled.
Yeah. Stephon, age 31. Can you? Are you talking directly into your phone?
Oh, excuse me. I am now.
Okay, please. Thank you. Yeah.
You hear me better?
Yeah, we hear you better. Keep it like that from here on out so we can hear you, okay? You said
All right, okay.
31. Go ahead, brother. What's your question?
All right, yeah. Well, I wanted to, I guess, get a deeper understanding. I had heard Mr. Justin here made a statement saying that a lot of times the reason the guys get so emotionally invested is due to either something that was missing from mom, or I may have misinterpreted what he said. But I'll say, as for me, I think I would date through my ego. And what I would mean is I would do nice things for women because I enjoyed the reaction of them, whether or not it was real or fake. And most of the time, the reaction from them may be fake. So let's say I bring flowers to them. Oh my God, thank you. Now I'm feeling this good feeling, and I'm tied to the emotional response of, it makes my ego feel good because I brought them something. And so then never did I want to delete myself, but I did react in an angry way when things went left. Like, wait a minute, you were responding in this positive way when I brought this. Now, obviously, this was way before I knew about any of y'all on YouTube. But what I'm saying is it wasn't that I was trying to chase who my mom was or wasn't. My thoughts were, now that I know about y'all and now that I've learned some things, I'm chasing the good feeling of my ego. It's almost like I'm chasing that reaction. So me, I'm performance based, right? So everything I do, I need to see results. And so if I'm seeing good reaction from her, which has nothing to do with the game, if I'm seeing a good reaction from her, it's like, yeah, man, I'm doing the right thing, you know? And so maybe that's the tie-in where guys get so invested with women, where they want to delete themselves. You know, just like when the stock market crashed, you had people jumping off the top floor of buildings, right? Because they were so invested into their finances. And maybe that's what happens with certain guys, that they get so invested in the end result. And so I wanted to know, from a mental standpoint from you guys, what do you think? How do you separate women from the other areas of your life? Meaning, how do you stop from wanting to be productive with women, or what part of your brain, rather? I know this is very deep, but what part of your brain stops you from wanting to be productive with women as you are with work, as you are with your physical body and things like that?
Well, first, I just want to say, thanks for the call, but your observation, like the observation and the self-reflection that you did in conveying what you used to do, that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think a lot of guys need to do more self-reflection like that around their behaviors, because, and I've mentioned this on my channel a lot, where I refer to the functioning a lot like a drug addict, where guys will use women as if they are a drug, right? And the feedback that they get from women is sort of like turning into their own drug dealer. So they're like, okay, I want this positive feelings. I want the dopamine. I want the ego strengthening that I'm being a good boy, right? I'm getting the approval, right, of mom, basically. Like, hey, mom, I did this nice drawing at school. And she's like, oh, sweetie, that's amazing. Even though it looks like shit, she's not going to tell you that. And he puts it on the refrigerator, same thing. So you become accustomed and you learn these skills of, oh, if I do this, then I get this. And you get that constant emotional feedback from the woman, getting you that constant high. And then when you don't get your drugs, you go into what do they call that? When you don't get the drugs, you start fiending, right? Just like a drug dealer, right? And they start freaking out and they go through withdrawal and they get angry, they get depressed, all the same symptoms of someone who's not getting their drugs. So it's really good observation of yours, caller.
Let me say this. Let me say this real quick, because y'all know I'll be having these lagging issues. Let me just say this. One of the reasons why I believe men should always take 100%. Hold on, caller.
Wait,
don't do that. Don't interrupt. Hold on, caller. Don't do that.
With teams,
okay.
But I just want
caller.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, caller. Okay. Yeah, the caller. No, he's not hanging out. He was just saying that he can't hear anybody else speak on the show for some reason, because maybe with the settings with Teams. Okay. Yeah, but go ahead anyway, Zach. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Y'all fix your caller. You fix your setting. This is for the other people. The reason why I say men should take 100% accountability for all relationships, no matter how they end, is because of what Justin said. When you talk about self-discovery and self-reflection, things of that nature, when you don't take responsibility for your choices in women, you will blame them, right? And if you blame other people for negative outcomes in your life, you'll never see your role in your choices. You'll never see that some of your bad choices led to this thing being inevitable, that it was going to end this way, right? And this is what people got to understand. There are a lot of relationships that end in a very amicable way, where there's no hate, there's no vitriol, there's no angst, there's none of that. And a lot of times that's because both people in a relationship understand there's a healthy respect, and that starts with the man, right? So a lot of times the reason why relationships end with a bunch of drama and toxicity is because of the failed leadership of the man to end it a long time ago. But y'all got it.
I was the caller at one moment in my life that I recall. Had a very, very beautiful girlfriend.
If I could just say this again. I wanted to say this in response to what Mr. Justin was saying. I will give credit, though. Part of my issue came from not understanding. Now, my mom and dad were separated, so I didn't understand why my dad moved the way he moved. Like, I was like, it was almost like, now that I'm grown and now that I know who I am, well, I'm trying to know more about who I am, it's almost like I was hating on my dad. And my mom never said nothing bad about my dad, but I'd be like, man, what in the world? Why does my dad always choose himself? Why does he always put himself first? And part of, I think, excuse my language, but the bitch assness that I was going through was kind of what Mr. Justin was saying about the feeling of the mom, but really it was like I was trying not to be who my dad was. And in essence, my dad is like the epitome of what you guys are teaching guys, putting yourself first. He took care of us, but it was like I don't know, when I was younger, I wanted more time, you know, but he was working on his craft. And I didn't understand him. He's still alive today, and we talk. But I didn't understand him, honestly, until about a year ago when I started listening to y'all. And it really, like I said, the game goes way deeper than women, man. I'm telling you this. You guys have, like, in a sense, made me have more respect for my father. And so what Mr. Justin is saying is true. It's just, I'm going to go, as it relates to me, it was the opposite. It was like I was kind of chasing the youth in me of trying not to be who my dad was when I was growing up. But in essence,
Caller, let me ask you a question though. Caller, let me ask you a question though about your father. Let me ask you a question about your father.
My dad.
Caller, let me ask you a question about your father.
Hold on.
Caller, let me ask you a question. Caller, who put into your head that how your father was moving was bad? Did you come upon that thought on your own, or did your mother put it there?
So, a caller, because you say you can't hear anybody else. K Zagan is asking, who put it in your brain that?
Hey,
listen, who put?
What I did was I heard him. Okay. I had to turn the TV back on, so I'm able to do it that way. I can work through it. So I heard what he said. Listen, I don't know, K Zagan. It had to come I think it just was in me. That was my mom. Well, let me say this. I will say I had my mom's brother would badmouth my dad a lot growing up. You know, I'm in the South, so we're big on church. My dad's a big time pastor here. My uncle's a pastor, and it was just a bunch of feud. Basically, he fired everybody. Just to give a long story short, him and mom broke up, whatever. So I would watch my uncle badmouth dad, but I didn't take his words literally. But there was just something in me that wanted more time with my dad, and because I didn't get it, it was like I was chasing that. Sorry about that.
Okay. So my thing is this, like, there's going to be a multitude of reasons why you do the behavior that people do. And I don't want to get people caught up in, oh, I wasn't doing it for this, I was doing it for that. That doesn't fit. There's a multitude of behaviors, right? At some point, you got to wake up. You know, you don't spit in the wind head in your direction, right? Like, only how many times you're going to do that? At some point, you got to wake up. Now, I don't care why I was doing the behavior. And I always self-reflected, and I realized that it was the bad behavior to do, right? So at one point, I had this girlfriend, and she said she liked flowers, and so I got her flowers frequently. Now, I broke it up with her for some other reasons, broke it off with her for some other reasons. And we had a phone call one day, and she says, I just want to let you know you were the most attentive boyfriend I ever had in my life. And anything else she said wouldn't have cut as deep, but that cut deep. And it woke me up. Like, hold on, what? Like, you know, because until you solidify and you become comfortable with exactly who you are, you might have glimpses of who you are, right? And those glimpses might happen per individual or per function. How bad is she or whatever, right? But in all actuality, who you are needs to be consistent. So, you know, I didn't have the suckerish moments every moment, but that was a sucker moment, right? And I could realize, like, hey, you know what? I ain't ever in my life doing that again, right? Some of you guys need to have the experiences to get cut, to wake up, to say, hey, I need to do something different. I need to reflect and see, why do I keep having these same experiences? I need to reflect to see, you know, this feeling, because as soon as she said that, I know exactly how I felt, and I didn't care about that compliment. I didn't ever want to hear it again, and didn't want to speak to her again. She basically cursed me out with that sentence. You was the most attentive boyfriend I ever had. That's how I felt in that moment. Like right. Every cuss word she just said. Right. And I think, guys, you guys got to start learning from the experiences that you do have, and understanding, like, look, everybody's road to this game is going to be different. But what's the same is you got to learn from your experiences. Facts.
And that's right there, Jay Roman.
All right,
I don't think guys learn from their experience.
We got 201. Name, age, city.
This is Duran, 29, Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. What's your question?
Yeah, so I just wanted to learn how I could let go of old beliefs and like old ways.
Like, so what kind of beliefs are you trying to let go of?
Just like when I was raised, like I was given misinformation.
How do you know it's
So
misinformation? How do you know
it's misinformation?
Yeah, how do you know?
I was raised by a single mother.
Okay.
So like I didn't really have like a masculine presence guidance like that.
Okay.
So I was kind of a little lost growing up. So like I would learn stuff on my own, but it's taking me like a minute. So I want to know how I could.
No, hold on. I still need to understand where, because like I'm hearing too much assumption, right? You're assuming that you were lost. What made you realize you were lost? I still need to know that. I still need to understand your perspective, because just because you get on the internet and you listen to us and because you were raised by a single mother doesn't necessarily mean that you're lost, that there's anything wrong with your mindset. What is going on in your life that is showing you or proving to you without a shadow of a doubt that something is wrong with how you were raised and these beliefs you need to let go? What is your proof? What is your evidence?
Well, I don't have a lot of success with women, but I have like success in other areas in my life.
So I'm curious.
Can you hear K-Zag again?
Can you repeat that?
Did you hear K-Zag just now talk?
No, I just hear
you. Can you hear me call?
I don't know. This team shit is different. I got to figure something out. This shit ain't the best.
Well, caller, I guess
what
did he say?
Nah, he didn't say nothing yet, really. Hold on. Go
All right, caller. So I think what Miles is asking is, you said that you've got some beliefs that you want to learn how to deconstruct. They're learning to. They want to try to deconstruct the.
Justin, he can't hear you. Justin, he can't hear you.
30
Justin,
this
he can't
year. I
hear
don't
you.
want to keep making the same mistakes I did in my 20s.
Right.
But like, it's like I'm at a point where like I'm not the same man I used to be, but I'm becoming a new man, and like I'm struggling with that because I don't want to mess that up.
Right. All
okay.
right. Hold
okay.
1 second.
Miles, can you put him on hold for just a second so I can say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you, Miles? Is there a way when the callers call in, if you can tell them to turn on a TV or a computer? Okay, call it. So that way they can hear us speak. So they can respond to us.
Where are you listening to the show?
Well, it's paused now on my phone.
Oh, it's paused on. Yeah, so he's listening to the show on his phone. So I doubt he could talk and still hear the phone at the same time. I'll try to relay the message. Go ahead, Justin. What was your question? Caller, just hold on a sec.
Well, I was going to say that the question is, what has he learned that does not, or what has he learned that is conflicting with his beliefs? So he's got a belief that he's had, and then he's learning something that is contrasting with that belief. Is there anything like that that's happening in his life?
Okay, so caller, the question is, what is going on in your life that is conflicting with how you were raised, right? What is going on in your life that you can see that is going against what you knew your whole life?
Well, it's like people are saying one thing, but I'm seeing a completely different reality.
Give me an example, please.
Like I'm kind of seeing like the reality of like how women act different than on the surface. Like they'll say something on the surface, but like on another level, on a deeper level, they'll do something else.
Damn, I wish this motherfucker could hear us, bro. What?
Give me an example.
Like how a woman, like you guys will say, like a average woman has more game than an average man. So she'll run game on that average man, and I could kind of see that.
Okay.
Yeah, hello?
Miles, is he still there?
Resume.
Is he there?
Yeah, he's still there.
Is anybody there?
Caller, you there?
Okay, let me say this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Okay, and he can listen to the play. He can listen to the playback. Let me say this to everybody else listening, because basically what he's talking about, it's the same shit that spurred MGTOW and Red Pill and all this shit. Oh, these women are nothing like society said they was. These women are this and that. Okay, so it's not women's fault that y'all have this grandiose view of them, that y'all think they're sugar spice and everything nice, and that they're, that they should be these super virtuous women of high moral character and all that. It's not women's fault that y'all think that. Now, there are women who will play up to that, right? Because they understand that in order for them to be wifed up, for some men, they got to play that virtuous good girl role. But it's y'all's fault that y'all want to believe that about women, right? Even just based on the shit that we talk about, all four of us right now, and the people that we associate with and do things with on other platforms and all of that, y'all should already know the truth. Women love dick. Guys, I know y'all don't like hearing it. Women love to have sex. And sometimes, guys, women like variety. Sometimes women don't want one dick. They want multiple dicks they can play with. I'm sorry. I know that bothers you. You wish your dick was the only dick. I know it hurts your heart. But the reality of it is, you're going to meet women who, if you're not the leader type, if you don't know how to take control of the situations, they're going to run you. Okay? And this is a fact. Women will run you if you don't know what you're doing. But y'all got it.
But so caller, you're not giving examples in your own life though. You're still talking about stuff that you've heard on the internet. We're trying to figure out what is going on in your life that is exposing to you that you need a change in your mindset. Like, how did you come to the conclusion that you're lost in your own life? Tell us, how did you come to the conclusion that you're lost?
Well, so like I dress well, I clean up well.
So
I do like all that stuff, and then I'll talk to a woman, and then she's not feeling it. But like,
and
it's like I got all this stuff on point
because you're not sexually appealing. You have no.
He can't hear you, Zach. I'm sorry. He can't hear you. Shit, we can't hear you. Okay.
You pop locking again, man.
Yeah, your mic is going in and out, Zach.
Maybe you could tell the caller when we start to talk to mute the call and re-listen.
Miles, ask him how much Red Pill shit he watches. I bet you it's a fuck ton.
Caller, do you watch Red Pill?
No, but I know of it.
No, but you know of it. So you've never watched any Red Pill content whatsoever.
Red Pill led me to this. But like I never really consumed it. I just, I would look at it here and there, but I was never really like immersed in it.
Mm-hmm. But it led you.
Miles.
I knew there was something like missing in Red Pill. I knew like they were not telling me the whole truth, but you guys are.
Miles.
Okay, Zach, you say ask him what?
Miles, ask him. Ask him what's his views on sex as it relates to women. How does he believe women should view sex?
How does he believe women should view sex?
How do I?
Yes. Yes. How does he believe women should view sex?
Yeah. So caller, how do you believe
That's another thing. Like I was never really like told like it's okay. You know what I'm saying? They would try to like shun it growing up. So I think that may have an effect on it as well.
And I'm a firm
You know
believer.
Because like ever since I was young, I would always have women around me and stuff. But like I didn't know how to lead them because I guess my dad wasn't around, so you know he wouldn't really give me advice like that. But
your dad being around had nothing to do with it. Don't blame that on dad. That had nothing to do with it. We gotta.
I still feel like
I know
should've
the
got
caller can't hear me, but let me just speak to everybody else.
dealing with women at an early
Miles,
age.
can you play some on hold for just a second?
Yeah.
And my mom wasn't really feeling that.
Caller, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Okay, so let me say this real quick. We need to stop using the excuses. Oh, this parent wasn't around, or this. None of that matters. At the end of the day, when you're growing up and you're a teenager and you're going through puberty and you're going through all these different things, there are things that you inherently just don't like, and there are things that you would prefer. The problem with people is people are afraid to live their truth. Bottom line, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. You're just afraid to make certain decisions that you prefer to make because you don't like the alternative of being ridiculed, ostracized, or looking like the black sheep, right? So people make the quote unquote popular decision to avoid all that ridicule and everything else, and then later in life you regret it because you always been living life on everybody else's terms other than yours. Shout out to Jay Roman. You a passenger in your own life. Fuck all that. Your daddy wasn't there. Your mom was mean to you. None of that matters. You're a grown up now. Okay, make a different fucking decision if you don't like your fucking life. Y'all got it.
Yeah, and my thing too is like once you become aware of something, like I hate when people be like, you know what, the reason why I don't like women is because my mom was mean to me. Well, once you make that statement and you connect it, then it's time to take actions to do something different about it. So you can't keep saying it over and over again. You know, I'm a bad driver because I never was taught how to drive. So are you just going to continue to be a bad driver, or are you going to go get some driving lessons so you become a better driver? Like once you become aware of something, it is now your responsibility to take actions to fix it.
There you go.
Exactly. So caller, you're gonna have to listen to the guys are answering your questions, but you're really gonna have to listen to it on the playback. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties because the Skype crossed over to a new platform.
I heard a little bit of what K-Zag said. Like living in your truth and
did you hear it through the phone call or did you play it back? Were you listening to it on the playback?
What's that?
Did you hear it on the phone call or were you listening to it on the playback on YouTube?
No, on the YouTube.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so listen to the answers to your questions on the playback.
Yeah, and for the caller, this is for when you're listening on the playback. I've got a like a mini workbook on how to deal with beliefs. And so to get that, you can email me at justin@thedominanceacademy.com.
You said how to deal with I missed the word. How to deal with what?
How to deal with false beliefs.
How to deal with false beliefs. Okay. Okay, cool, guys. So make sure you guys get with Mr. Justin at the Dominance Academy. He's got a lot of great work over there.
So I want guys to develop original thoughts and original ideas when it comes to dealing with women. Stop trying to pattern or have your shit matches what other people are doing. Carve your own path and do your own thing based on what you personally like. Right? I think a lot of guys, I think your issue is you believe that if you listen to other people and follow a certain way, right, whether it be society, women's, or whoever else's, and you follow a certain way of doing things, that you're going to get what you want. How can you get what you personally want by following someone else's methods? You have to develop your own methods that work for you and your own unique personal masculine identity. Shout out to Miles. Y'all got it.
I just think things are easily said than done, right? And I'm hearing your statement, Zag, and it's like, I think they don't know how to do that. But then again, they're not sitting here and taking advantage of the guys that have programs to learn how to do that.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the connection that it's kind of lost a little bit, where it's like, I want to do better, I want to do this, and I want to do that. Well, and then like, hey, you guys got to do it. You got to. Here's a program. Miles has a program. Zag has a program. Justin has a program that's saying, hey, if you email me, if you get on my program, I'm going to help you know how to do these things so you can get better. Yeah. And I think that's the difference. You can't just get it from watching the show, and because the information is kind of blanketed and it's not actually for you. The more you can get information designated for you, the better you'll start your path on.
You need tailor-made advice.
Exactamundo. So like give it part of the program, give it one of these programs and see how it goes for you, how it helps you change and how it motivates you. What cracks me up is in any other facet of life, if I wanted to be a construction worker, right, I just can't go out there, watch construction videos and then go build something.
Right.
You know, I can watch them over and over again, but at some point I'm going to need somebody to say, hey, I know it said the red and blue wire does that, but the green and the red wire does the same thing. In fact, it doesn't matter the color of the wire. This is where the circuit starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that people who have been doing it and experiencing it daily know how to do certain things. And those are the people that you go to say, hey, how do I really, really do this? And I think that you guys got to start investing in yourselves. I don't understand it. Like, you watch a few shows and you say, I know I need to invest in myself.
Yeah.
So how do I do it right now? Live on TV, live on YouTube right now. Tell me how to do it. No, be a part of one of these programs to help back you up.
Right.
So.
Yeah. They
Jay Roman, you said something.
Yeah, go ahead, Kay.
No, Jay Roman, you said something. It was so simplistic. I don't want to gloss over it. You were talking about the red and white wire, or red and blue wire, whatever fuck color it was, right? And you was like, the green and the other color wires do the same thing. In fact, here's where the circuit is. It doesn't matter the color of the wire as long as it's hooked to the right circuit. So if you think about something, if someone is giving you some information and they say, hey, just plug that into the white and red wire, right? That's surface level information, right? But if you want more detailed information, let me tell you where the actual circuit is, where the wire connects to, so you don't got to worry about the color, because you know exactly what it's connected to. Even when you talk about dating advice, right? Guys are so on the surface with just wanting some pussy, they don't understand the responsibility that it takes to even be a guy that's getting some pussy. There is still a responsibility as a man, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to dealing with women in any capacity, because even when it involves something as simple as casual sex, you can fuck up your life. But y'all got it.
Yeah, like I don't want to take responsibility for myself, but I want to be able to navigate another person, right? I don't want to be able to navigate myself. I don't have the grit in order to do that.
Right.
But I want to integrate my mind, my body, and my emotions with somebody else. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So what do you think the outcomes are going to be? If you fucking sweep yourself under the rug, you're going to handle women well? Get out of here.
And that I think I want to put those two statements together as far as what Jay Roman was saying and what you're saying right now, Justin. It's like the lack of self-importance is just mind-boggling. And that's why they don't want to make the investment. And either that, or they just think that because it's themselves, they take for granted that they just should know this shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, because, well, I'm me, so what, you know, but at the same time, you have all these questions, and at the same time, you're seeking all this validation. And the fact that you're seeking validation, they don't even know that that is a lack of self-awareness. So you've been living with yourself your entire life, but you're still not self-aware, right? You wake up every day to your own life, but you're not running or controlling or even influencing your own life. You're still shout out to Jay Roman. You're still a passenger in your own fucking life. You're being led. You're being led by someone else's GPS. You didn't even punch in the fucking address that you really wanted. You're just out here being led by somebody else's GPS. I'm telling you, it's so fucking crazy. I used to live in New York City, and I swear in almost every major train station, there were like 15 fucking doors. 15. And everybody, there would always be a line at one fucking door. Always. So you see people lining up to enter the same train station, and there are 15 doors. Bro, and when I say this, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is literal life. Everybody would line up at that one fucking door, and I would look at this, and I would walk to the door, and I would just randomly just pick door number 6 or 7, and they're all at door number 15, just lined up, trying to just step by step trickling into the train station. When anyone. You can just literally choose any door you want to enter the train station.
You know, there was a funny experiment done with this guy to see how people easily fall into groupthink.
Yeah,
don't question any sort of things. They just kind of do what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And what he did is went to a shopping mall, and you know, in shopping malls, there's like just random unmarked doors. You know, sometimes it leads to like a security thing, or you know, some kind of like boiler room or what have you, some sort of like service door. It's not connected to any stores or anything. And he had like his bags, right? And he went and just started standing in front of one of these doors.
Right.
And he was about like 6 feet away from the door, just standing, waiting. And then a few minutes, somebody just got right behind him. And then another person got right behind him. And then time goes on. There was a shit ton of people all just standing in line by this door.
For no reason.
And he was right. And he had a friend of his like documenting the whole thing. And it was like, fucking hell, people are stupid.
Yeah. It's crazy. Shout out to MXP channel with the $4.99 super chat. He says, salute to the OGs. Welcome to the cookout, Justin. Let's soak up the game and keep them busters out of our lane. Texas holding it down. All right. Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
I get some of the people. Some of the people feel like they don't realize that how much their ego holds them back.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be good at everything.
Yeah.
And you have to self-reflect. You know, like we've all been saying, like if you don't self-reflect and look at yourself and say, hey, I'm not good at this. I didn't grow up, you know, because everybody's reality is different. I grew up with 6 brothers, 1 sister, and a whole bunch of guy friends that, you know, they did not say, I don't think we said anything nice to each other our whole lives until we got into our 40s. Right? Like literally like, hey man, I just made this shot. So what? You know, it was just like there's nothing, and you had to have a tough skin. You have to have, you know, you say you're gonna go talk to that girl, well, go talk to her then.
Right.
Like, in fact, you got 2 minutes because I'm looking at her now and I'm gonna go talk to her. So, you know, the pressure was on. Like, it's just that's how we grew up. So my reality is different. The way I learned and the way I process things is going to be different. If you don't have that,
I'm sorry, Jay. Real quick, guys, please do put a Q in the chat if you got any questions, because these phone lines is not working like they should. So we encourage you to put your questions in the chat, and you know, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so I'm saying like your reality is going to be different than
everybody. So if you have a question, put a Q in the chat followed by your question.
So your reality is going to be different. So you have to look at your reality, see what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then go from there. If you were never groomed in this sort of essence, then you're going to have to get some help. And that's okay. You could be great at putting cars together and getting dressed and working out and all this other stuff. But if you're not great at something, you got to go get some help on people that are good at it and then start from there. So that's, you know.
Thanks. That's real tough.
So guys, let me get back.
Guys, questions in the chat. Go ahead, put questions in the chat. These phone lines are not. Y'all can hear them though, right?
Yeah, I can hear the dude. I can hear it when it rings. It sounds kind of funny, but I can hear it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So you know, let me go back to the title. Well, go ahead, Miles.
No. Yeah, you. Sorry, you go ahead. Mm-hmm.
All right. So why embracing your revolving door of women will set you free? Now, I want to go back also to what Mr. Justin and Miles both alluded to in the beginning, where the guy in the beginning who was basically saying like it's not like some trauma shit. I want to address that because that's some real shit, right? And one of the things that we talk about, it's not the thing that you're doing. It's always the why.
Right.
Why are you motivated to do that thing that you're doing? Why are you motivated to say that thing that you're saying? Right? The why is way more important than the action being taken. Right? And what I mean by that is this. All of us can take a woman out to dinner. Same restaurant, same night, spend $200 a piece, but the reasons why we're there are completely different. Right? One guy, he's trying to, get a chick to fuck him. Right? I just met her. Another guy, that's his wife. You know what I'm saying? So there's different reasons that bring us to the same place, although we're all doing the same action. So I want to say this about the trauma thing, and y'all alluded to it about coping. There are both men and women who are dating playing defense, meaning you're always trying to stay one step ahead of the person to keep from being played because you're worried about your feelings getting hurt. Right? I don't date like that. Right? I don't date with my feelings being hurt because nobody's incapable of hurting my feelings. The only person that can hurt me is me based on the choices that I make. Right? So all a human being can do is disappoint me. That's all a woman can do is disappoint me. Right? And here's the thing about life and just dealing with people in general. When we talk about a revolving door, you're dealing with people who aren't infallible. You're dealing with people who are imperfect. You will always be disappointed by other people.
Facts.
Right? But one of the things you need to do, you need to hold yourself down so you can never disappoint yourself. Because if you are making decisions with your health, your mindset being prioritized, you can never let yourself down with the choices you make. Right? So when you deal with women, once you realize that a woman's actions aren't in alignment with your emotional and mental well-being, you got to get her up out of there. Right? So that way there is no healthy, attachment. I mean, there is no unhealthy attachments. There is no heartbreak. There is no, I'm so sad because it's because you're so happy. Y'all got it.
Yeah, there should definitely be no enforcement of how things are moving within your interaction with a woman based on how you feel, right? So if we look at, say, police work, right? You're on the highway, you're doing 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. The cop pulls you over and offers you a ticket. It's not because he's upset. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just doing his job. It's a beautiful day. He was just chilling in his car, drinking coffee, right? Pulled up. He says, first thing he says, he's like, "You hurt my feelings." He said, "No, sir. Do you know how fast you were going?"
Right.
And you're like, "Well, you were going. I tracked you at 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. So, do you have your license, registration, insurance, all that bullshit?" And then he says, "Here's your ticket or your summons. Have a nice day." Right? He is nonplussed about the entire thing. He could give a flying fuck about you. All he's doing is upholding the law, right? You didn't disrespect him. You disrespected the law. You said, fuck these laws. I'm driving as fast as I want, And the thing is that guys, they don't have any laws. They don't have laws within their, and if they do, oftentimes they're based around their emotions.
No boundaries.
I don't want you to break this rule because it'll hurt my feelings. I don't want to break this rule because it'll it'll make me feel disrespected, which is more feelings. I don't want you to break this rule because it'll make me angry, like all that stuff. It's nothing based around structure and upholding a system, right, that is there to benefit both people. That's why we have laws. I mean, ideally speaking, is so that we have a system that can benefit most people. Okay. And that's the whole point, right? So that's the idea, but you don't have that, guys. And you just have your feelings, or you have some mock-up like paper mache version of a program that has like marker written on, or no, crayon that says program and weird kid letters. And you're like, look, girl, I got myself a program. And it's really not like that. It's just your feelings, right? Trying to dictate another person's behavior just so you feel emotionally safe.
With your feelings. Okay, Justin, you said a mouthful. You said emotionally safe. There is a popular clip going around. This is a younger Black lady, and she's talking about that very thing. She was talking about how people are getting into relationships expecting people to secure their insecurities. Right? So even when you look at the guy was talking about dating out of convenience. Okay, this is why I say monogamy has this place, but I think monogamy is corruptive. Okay, this is what I mean by I believe that monogamy is corruptive. People like flock to monogamy like it's a safe haven.
Right.
Right. Oh, I'm going to get into a relationship with this one person who's going to make me feel safe. They're going to make me feel special. They're going to make me feel loved. And I'm going to be insulated from all the mean stuff that happens in the world from this one person. And they're going to love me right. And they're going to love my love language. So I always feel good. And then you obligate this person to never hurt you. You obligate this person to never let you down. And you wonder why relationships don't last. Right. And this is the whole attachment thing. And this goes back to, and I think, Justin, you said it earlier about the whole mother thing. I remember myself, 1950, and I believe it was Steve the Dean. We did a joint, and it was one of the Passport Bros, you know, popular one, young brother from Dallas. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And he was in Brazil, and he was, you know, he had this video archive of him in a grocery store. And he's literally telling a woman, just go shopping. Don't ask me what I want. My mama never asked me what I wanted. She just bought shit and I ate it. So you're going to do like my mama did, and you're going to buy shit and you're going to cook it. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? So he was literally looking like the woman to move through the grocery store like his mother would, right? Mm-hmm. And let me just bring it to this. Like even when the whole domestic shit where guys like, oh, I want a woman who cooks and cleans. A lot of you niggas never cared about that. You just want that because a nigga on YouTube said that shit, right? So you yourself don't want that, right? And in some cases, the reason why you want it, because it's an extension of your mother. You never learn how to cook. You never learn how to clean and disinfect the house. You never learn how to separate laundry and do your own shit, right? You've always had your mommy doing it, right? So when you move out, you instantly looking for a bitch that can do it for you, right? And let me just say this about that, and I'm going to pass it to y'all. All you fucking men, y'all need to learn how to cook, clean, disinfect the house on your own. Now, if you prefer for a woman to know how to do it so she can handle up, cool. But you should never ask a woman to bring something to your life that doesn't exist before she got there. Y'all got it.
Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't be asking anyways either. Like that bullshit. I can't stand that phrase. What do you bring to the table? that just whatever anyone
I can't stand it either.
Right, because what that does, it exposes the lack of knowledge of a man's kingdom. Right? If you know what's like, just think about it. Like, let's say you own a car, right? And it needs something. You know it fucking needs something. If it needs a new alternator, it needs like new seat covers. It needs even just something small like an air freshener. If you know your car very well, I mean, even mechanically, let's say you work on cars, you hear this little tick, 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 tick. You're like, oh, that sounds like the valves are loose. It might be time for a valve adjustment, because you know exactly so thoroughly what is needed in your thing, whatever that thing is.
Right.
So then, but to then get a passenger to come sit in your car and go, what do you bring to this car? You know, like, I should know. Right. If I want someone to bring something, but like, actually, I need a tire iron because mine broke or I lost it. So that's what I need. I know I need a tire iron. And you say, if you're coming in here, you're bringing a tire iron because that's what I require. You know? So whenever someone says, what do you bring? You're asking, what do you bring to my world? That means you don't know your world well enough.
Facts. Real talk. Yep. I've always said that. This is one of the dumbest phrases out there. These guys mean something. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
No, I agree. Miles and Justin, I agree. I can't stand it. And what it is, this whole internet shit is just a revolving door for popular phrases and terms. Emotional intelligence. What the fuck is that shit? I never heard of that shit 2-3 years ago. Right? A lot of this shit, and let me just say this, and this is what guys need to stop doing, because I notice guys are doing this. Y'all need to stop adopting phrases that women say. Like, there are certain phrases that are more associated with women and women empowerment and shit that women say, right?
Like
y'all need to stop doing that shit, right? And let me just say this.
And I don't want to be a narcissist.
Like, bro.
I didn't like in the video when dude said trauma.
Grown man making videos.
I didn't like in the video when the guy was like, that sounds like some trauma. I'm like, that sounds like some lady stuff that you like. Yo, this is what I'm telling you on what I'm thinking. You know, Now if you ask me where it comes from, let me tell you where it comes from. But that sounds like some trauma you have. Like that's no, I don't. No, I think we went from one area all the way around.
Oh yeah, high value man, that goofy shit.
And I think a lot of these guys don't give the lady the opportunity who they seem to be beautiful look ugly to them. And if to me that means you're not looking, you're putting her on the pedestal instead of looking at her for who she really is. And I think if you don't take accountability on how you are looking at ladies in your life, then that makes it even worse, because now, and when I mean a woman turn ugly, like all beautiful women turn ugly, right? Like if they don't follow your program, because they're no longer beautiful to me. Mm-hmm. They're no longer, I don't know who says a 10 or something like that. I don't believe in a little 10. I just believe who rocks with me.
It's no such thing as a dime, a perfect woman. Like, we got to stop that.
Yeah, but they don't recognize that when they start to turn ugly. Mm-hmm. Because they don't recognize how to correct themselves in their program when it comes to the ladies. Because if you can't recognize that, hey, this is what's going on. I'm getting some pushback. I'm getting because the first amount of pushback is ugly, right? You went from a very beautiful woman to somebody I don't know if I can even rock with,
right?
It's just period. But so if you can't see
that, if a woman tells me maybe, she might as well be Rasputia. You know what I'm saying? If she tell me maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Exactly. So,
yeah, and this is why I talk about the 3 essential tools for men is the axe, the hatchet, and the compass. And you keep those blades sharp all the time, and you keep it dangling from your belt all the time. The axe is only used just when necessary, right? That's for ending any sort of connection, relationship, whatever, whether it's a day or weeks or months or years. Like where the fuck up is so bad that there's nothing left to do but just to dismiss the woman from your life. The hatchet is for those moments when you say something or you do something and there's pushback, there's questioning, there's judgment, there's criticism, and you immediately deal and check the behavior. And and then the compass is for redirection, right? Because it's not enough to stipulate where boundaries are. Right. It's not enough to say no. You have to say what is acceptable. You have to say the yes. So you say no to, I don't know, raising your voice at me. Right. And then the compass is, but how you should sound is, and then you give an example, like verbatim of what it should sound like. Right. Don't speak in generalities and say, no, it's not allowed to raise your voice at me. And then, and you say, I would just like you to speak in a more quiet tone, right? You need to give a clear example, like never raise your voice louder than the way I talk, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm talking in this tone, this is the tone that you should be speaking at. And I don't care if you're upset, right? I can get upset and speak just like this. And that's what I expect of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if she's like, like attitude again, the hatchet comes out, right? And you just keep doing it, like playing whack-a-mole. And if there's no adjustment, well, then the axe has to come out. Like right then and there in that same conversation, right? Pushback. Okay, she's not taking correction. Right. Pull out the axe. This is done. Pack your shit.
And right there. See, right there, Justin. And this is one of the main reasons why your life will be a revolving door for women. Because once you've dealt with enough women, you're going to know, unfortunately, a lot of women won't make the cut.
Yeah.
Just by default, when you actually have standards and you actually give a fuck about yourself and you give a fuck about your peace, your tranquility, you're not going to let women come in and kick their feet up. So by default, you got to, in fact, okay, I would say this. You don't really understand what freedom looks like until you've turned down sex, until you've turned down women you could fuck, but you elect not to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got it.
And women don't know what freedom looks like until they turn down their ego.
There you have it.
Are you guys friends with a lot of your exes?
No. Not a lot. No. Like
I'm cool. I'm cool with some of them.
Then we all understand cordial.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cordial.
cool.
I'm talking about friends.
Yeah, cordial or no, none, or cordial and nothing at all. But if it's something, it's cordial, and that's it. No friendships.
And I only ask that. It goes along with the title that there's guys that want to still be friends with their exes, which is really not really letting them be free from them to begin with.
Facts.
So,
you're trying to keep tabs on the low.
Yeah, I'm not friends with any of them.
I'm cool.
Once
I'm
you
cool.
lost
Like,
the ability to hang with me,
if I see him somewhere, if I see him somewhere, you know, I might hit him with the pound. What up, girl? I might hug, church hug. Because it ain't like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Church hug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You lost your ability to be next to this great guy. Okay, you lost that. So you get none of it.
Pretty much.
So
that's why I give them. That's why I give them church hugs. I don't give them full frontal hugs because they don't get to feel the print anymore. They lost that privilege. That's why they get the sign.
Zag hugs him with his ass out.
hey, you did a little tap hug, tap on the shoulder.
You just touch it on the upper chest, and that's it.
Oh shit! Oh my god, hilarious!
Y'all want to get to some of these questions?
Yeah, we do got some questions.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna let all y'all get it first because y'all know I'm fucking lagging and shit be fucking shit up. So I'll let y'all go first. I'll go last.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jay Mundus. Okay. He says, I don't necessarily think having tough skin is a good saying. Men should have a strong mind and a bold voice. Having a strong mind requires thinking and silence. Is that a good mindset to have? I don't. It's weird to me that you make a statement, but then you question if it's good or bad. Like if you think having good skin is not a good saying, then stand on that. Like Jesus Christ. Like what?
Wait, so he said, I don't think having tough skin is a good saying. So is he implying that men should have soft skin? Right? Because being tough skinned, that
I got my low.
That toughness, okay? Toughness refers to like any material's ability to absorb energy and resist fracturing under stress. Okay. That's what toughness means. Like when you're measuring toughness of a material, like whether it's steel or wood or glass or brick or whatever, there's actual measurements. I forget what it's called, but there's measurements of toughness. Okay. Why would a man want to not have toughness? Okay. Because that means that he fractures under a certain amount of stress. And if he fractures under a certain amount of stress, then that means not only he can't rely on himself, but other people can't rely on him either because he fractures under stress. Oh, there's too much on my plate today. I'm just going to hide in my closet, or I'm going to buckle down and cry.
Or vent to my woman.
Right. Or
which is what a lot of guys do.
Or start drinking, or I'm going to just not handle it because I don't have the thick skin to deal with life. Right. No. You should not have thick skin. You should have a tough body, a tough emotional grounding, tough mind, tough spirit. Everything about you should be tough, right? There's no room for softness except in that moments where someone has earned that part of you. Your caretaking, your ability to protect them and all that good shit.
Facts. J. Roman, you got it.
Yeah, I think in this, I think I said tough skin when I came, talking about me growing up, but right now it seems like semantics, like a strong mind. Yeah, he should have a strong mind. But to me, I encompass that in tough skin, sort of like what Justin was saying. Like it's a statement to say that I'm not easily moved. I'm not easily emotionally tied to what people have to say about me. I make my own decisions. I go from there. I stand on my decisions. If people don't like me because of the decisions, I don't care. To me, it's a statement that encompasses all that in what you're saying with the strong mind, the bold voice. So to me, it's kind of semantics of what you're saying. If you say it this way, that's the way you say it. I just say tough skin. I hang around people that have tough skin because when I tell them stuff, I don't have time for semantics. I tell them what the real deal is. This is what I like. This is what I think. I think that shirt you're wearing is ugly. I give you an example, man. I'm on my birthday. I had my friends come out for a birthday dinner I had, and they lit me up on my shirt I was wearing. I'm talking about, as soon as I stepped in, and I was fresh though. I'm gonna tell you, I was fresh.
It's not surprising. You do have questionable style choices, J. Roman.
Hey, I don't care. I was fresh though, for me, for what I thought. As soon as I stepped in on my birthday, right?
Right.
I mean, I get lit up. Oh, this dude rolling in with a golf shirt, and no bowling. He said, "Oh, okay, you pull out your bowling. You going bowling after this?" And then it went from there. Like 15 dudes just kind of cracking on it. I did not care. I had my son with me, and my son was looking, and my son, he'd be like, "Look, say one more thing about my dad, right?"
Right.
And I always have to teach him, like, "Hey, man, hey,
he can get it too. He can get it too. We'll climb that little nigga." No, I'm going.
I say, hey, Dad don't care. I don't care. I looked in the mirror. I looked at this shirt. I put my outfit together. I like it. This is what I'm rocking, and I might rock it. And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to rock it again because I like it."
Looking like Brolic Woods. Looking like Brolic Woods.
It was a green shirt. It was something, but hey, I like it too. I like the way it went. It had a little white on it. But anyway, so I get lit up. I get lit up. Don't care. And this is my birthday. Now, somebody, hey, why y'all talking about me on my birthday, man? Like, I invite everybody out and just to come hang out. And no, you gotta have a tough skin. I don't want to repeat everything Justin said, but it means something to have that tough skin. You go through life with it.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we good with that question, everybody, before I hop to this one?
Yeah.
All right, so Ronnie says, I'm confused with Kazak was saying earlier about women wanting more than one dick. What's the point of being in a relationship then? Why do y'all act like relationships are just monogamous? Y'all know there are open relationships, poly relationships. Okay. And let me just say this about relationships. Okay. You don't got to be in one. See, society got y'all fooled, right? This is society. Society had men thinking this. Hey, fellas, you're going to graduate from high school. You're going to make great grades. All right. And then when you graduate, you're either going to join the military, you're going to go to college, you're going to do something to put yourself in a prime position to make great money. And you're going to meet this beautiful woman who's going to love you dearly, give you wonderful children, and you're going to have a nice life. All you got to do is believe in God, get a degree in STEM, right? And everything is going to work out exactly how you wanted to work out. Yeah, you're gonna meet a woman, and then you're gonna date her exclusively. Then you're gonna get married and have some kids. And that's exactly how your life is gonna go. In reality, life don't work that way. Right. See, what God don't understand is that if you don't have a plan for yourself, life has a plan for you. And most of you guys are walking through life on autopilot. Shout out to J. Roman. You're a passenger in your own life. So when we talk about women wanting more than one dick, why are you worried about what women want? Okay, what do you want? And are you doing the things necessary to get what it is you want? And in the course of doing that, when you meet women, are women doing what they need to earn a spot in your life? In the moment they're no longer earning a spot in your life, are you doing what's necessary and get rid of them bitches post-haste? Not now, but right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Real talk. Yeah. So I'll say this. The whole point I think in relationships, which is why we tell you the game is not about women. The whole point is to focus on yourself and to focus on your masculine identity, because the only thing that you can take comfort in is creating a unique experience for yourself, bringing that woman along for the ride. Right. Then once she recognizes the value of the unique experience that you provide, that is the only thing that could, let's just say in the back of your mind, you're still a little bit worried she might, quote unquote, cheat. The only and best thing you can do is to create a unique experience that is specific to you and your masculine identity. And then, because here's the thing, if you consider your life experience to be valuable, that is the only way someone else will. But if you're sitting there worried about the other guy and the other dicks that she might want and this, that, and the third, if you're focused on that, you're only going to look weak, needy, and desperate. That's all you're going to do. So the only thing you can do is, like Jay Roman said earlier, you can only control yourself. So all you can really do is create that unique experience. You understand? And if she still, and check it out, she still might want to leave. But understand that her leaving still doesn't
Facts.
stop you from having your unique and valuable experience. So that's why you just need to focus on your own unique and valuable experience. That's why I talk about masculine identity, because your life is yours and no one else's. And if she don't see the value in that, check me out. She shouldn't be there. She shouldn't be there anyway. You see what I'm saying? So
She got to go.
She should go.
Yep. Yeah. What I hear.
And let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. My bad. Let me just say this. When a woman wants to break up with me or leave me, I don't take it like she's leaving me. I take it she's no longer willing to value the position.
There you go.
So she gotta go.
Right.
Y'all got
exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, goes right back to the law thing and the police example that I said. What I hear in this is the questioner is saying, I want a relationship in order to lock down pussy so that I can feel safe.
Right.
So I can feel emotionally safe. Right. And because with women wanting more than one dick and being able to get more than one dick, that makes me feel unsettled. That makes me feel scared. That makes me feel emotionally sensitive, volatile, or vulnerable. Okay. To emotional injury. And the thing is that this is coming from a position, and I'm not knocking people for just not having experience. Like, ignorance is something that we all experience.
Right.
But when you realize that a woman is actually moved by emotion, then you stop worrying about dicks. Okay. Because when you are able to produce an emotional response in a woman without distinctly trying to produce an emotional response such that she stays with you, because that's still simping.
Right.
It's just a result of being in your presence and you just expressing yourself, like in the same way, like a musician, they're not there to like capture people so that they stay in the audience, continue listening. They're just doing what they do. And all right, so people just stay there for the whole show and they're clapping and they want to, continue listening and buy more tickets for the next show. Right. They're not selling out to try to get people to do things in the same sense. But when you do that, like what happens with dicks just doesn't really matter. It's not about the dick. It's not about fucking. It's about how you manage, influence, and manipulate her emotions. I don't mean manipulate in like a sadistic way. I mean manipulate in the same way like a sculptor manipulates. Right, like the way a sculptor manipulates clay. He shapes it. Okay, so and truth be told, like you don't even have to touch women in order to do this because your body is not connected to emotions. Right. So like I've got 3 submissives in the world. They have given up like daily masturbation. They've given up fucking, right? Because the influence and the gratification they get from the emotional stimulation when dealing with me is greater than that. They don't want to fuck. They don't want to date. They just want to interact with me. I got one girl in South America. I got one girl in India, and I got one girl in East Asia. They're all like, I don't want to interact with any other men. I don't give a fuck if I can't touch you, because the emotional depth and influence is greater than physical touch.
Facts.
Right. So if you could just real quick, so if you could do this with someone who's close to you, right, like within your physical proximity. You don't even have to worry about that question, that person's question. Like, oh, what does she want this, what this? Because she won't. She absolutely will not.
There you go. And Justin, and I want to say this, because a lot of guys, they're going to think that's not possible. And I'm going to tell you why it is possible. Essentially, what the women are saying is, I'm enjoying this experience so much with this man. And I find value and fulfillment so much in dealing with this man that dealing with another man who is lesser will corrupt it. I don't think guys understand. It will corrupt it, right? Yeah. So it's almost like, imagine you're driving a Ferrari and you're enjoying it and the engine just fall out. You know what I'm saying? It's you're fucking up the flow. And they know, because now that they've dealt with Justin and they've experienced him, they've never experienced the heightened emotional pleasure and fulfillment.
Right.
They never experienced that. So they know any other man will be down. Right. So again, it's like going from a Ferrari to driving a fucking Toyota Camry. It ain't gonna happen, right? So and I want to say this: free will is potent. When you give women free will to make decisions that benefit them. Now, and I said this about women: women do not make decisions that benefit other people. They make decisions that benefit them, right? And that's okay. It's okay. So whether a woman decides to fuck another man or not fuck another man, it's not about you. It's all about her and her preserving the thing that she's feeling. So if a woman cheats on you, it's for her. It has nothing to do with you. If a woman doesn't cheat on you, it's for her. It has nothing to do with you. Y'all got it.
I think the second part of that is, and please stop me, Justin, if I'm putting words in your mouth, but if they did not act accordingly to the way he wanted them to act, then it would simply be somebody he would get rid of. And as far as, no longer associating with, because it's not aligned with what he wants to have happen. And I think that's the part that people have to understand, is that, once things have ran their course, you have to have the ability to say, this is over, and have a good day, and move on from there. And I think that's the part that a lot of guys are afraid to do sometimes.
Right.
And they try to hold on too long, so.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. There was actually 2 women in India. And let me tell you guys, Indian women are horny as fuck because they're denied. Yeah, their sexuality, their sexuality is repressed. Their sexuality is repressed a lot in their culture. And the men, India is like the mecca of simps and like incels. And but it's got to a point where they are like basically like, graping women in the street. But because they're so fucking crazy on this level. So women, they're desperate for that emotional fulfillment that comes from dealing with a masculine man. But this one lady, I was getting in her head, I was guiding her. She wanted to learn how to be a submissive, and I was teaching her and all this shit. And I opened up the floodgates, and she started getting greedy. She started to get a greedy little pussy, which is what someone would do, but hers was extra. And she was now getting into a demanding state. Right. And I said, I'm sorry, that's just not how things go here. And I corrected her, and she didn't accept the correction. She tried to, like, oh, that's not what I was trying to say. And it's like, okay, this is done.
Hatchet.
And the axe came out. Right. I tried the hatchet.
Sorry,
Axe, I tried the hatchet. It didn't work. And she defended herself instead of accepting the correction. And I said, all right, this is done. You're cut off.
So, Justin, I want to speak to that, and what a lot of guys don't understand, the potency of masculine sex appeal, the potency of dominance, of assertiveness, all these different things. A woman can literally be turned out by you, where you turn her into a monster, kind of. Yeah. Where like you said, she gets a greedy pussy, bro. I've literally had women stop fucking with me because they got too addicted to the dick, and I wasn't fucking them enough. So they literally got angry. You know what I'm saying? They would call me names, selfish, greedy, bastard, all this shit. Right? And it's your fault you got me like this, and how you gonna fuck me every 7 days? That's bullshit. I'm done fucking with your greedy ass, you selfish motherfucker. I've literally been cursed the fuck out because I refuse to give a bitch dick. Right? So I understand when a woman gets someone, and it's not just the physical act of having sex. Like you said, Mr. Justin, it's the emotional, it's all of that, because you've unleashed her. She's reaching the depths of her sexuality, and it's like overload. It's like a person doing drugs. Some people can just smoke a little weed. Some people overindulge. But y'all got it.
Facts. So I mean, if I'm ready when you're on, or are we done with questions or no?
Yeah. Y'all wanna do one more and then get the fuck about?
Yeah, let's.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll try and choose a one. Okay, right there. We'll do that one right there. So Linwood says, when is admitting to mismanaging a situation warranted? When you got drama?
No, I think he's saying, like, if you're mismanaging a situation, when is it warranted to say, raise your hand and say, hey, I admit I've mismanaged the situation? I think 100% of the time.
Yeah, I do this. I think it's one part of my, in a relationship or whatever is admitting to it, so that way you can correct it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And saying it, and then you also allow the roles as far as to how to treat mismanaged situations, to say, hey, it is okay to me, and say, hey, you know what, I did this mistake, I'm sorry, this is how I'm going to fix it. And I think any behavior that you want, you have to display yourself. And so, just for me, and I prefer it to be on my end. I tell you right now, because I can fix me quickly.
Exactly.
If I see something that's wrong with me, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, you don't. Hey.
Gotta fix
Let me
it.
think about it, and then let me come up with my thoughts. And if it's something I need to fix, I'll come. Hey, done. It's done. Because
and that's understanding yourself, Jay Roman. That more than likely, guys, when you deal with women, if you actually know how to lead, you're probably going to be the most accountable person in the situation. So when we talk about managing situations and being a leader, there has to be self-accountability, right? Even being a leader, right? You never ask of your subordinates what you wouldn't do yourself, right? But you also empower them or delegate so they can make decisions where both of you mutually benefit, just like you're doing. You empower them to do the same.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, this is the other side of the responsibility of leadership. A lot of guys, when we speak, right? Justin got his Dominance Academy. We talk about on Real Game No Theory all the time. We talk about relationships on your terms as the man. What they don't understand is the entire scope when it comes to the responsibility of leadership. You understand? Leadership is not just about controlling or influencing and keeping your foot on the neck of some woman somewhere. Leadership is about the entire thing. Leadership is about understanding why you must lead, and then leading. And then if we're going down a path that ends up being the wrong path, another part of leadership is accepting that, being responsible and accountable for the wrong move or the wrong leadership, and then being able to take responsibility and learn. This is what I'm talking about earlier as far as learning from experience. You learn from experience and you add the new information to your masculine identity. And then you're able to say, okay, this was wrong. We learned from this, and now we got to do better, or now we have to course correct. Right. And I take full responsibility. That's why I tell guys, if you're in a relationship and you see a woman acting or behaving a certain way, you need to be able to say to yourself, what did I do to make her feel that this type of behavior was okay? What did I do to make her think that? What did I do to get her comfortable enough to behave this way towards me? You really have to take full accountability, because women are sentient beings. They're their own person, but the herd mentality is so deep with them that you really have to take all the responsibility, pretty much 100% of the time. You understand? And so, and if you're not doing that, then most of your relationships are going to fail. Because when you start trying to blame a woman, that's like a parent trying to blame a 6-year-old for why they didn't go to school on time or some shit. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I would add this: how a woman conducts herself is a direct result of your leadership or lack thereof.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I just want to add a caveat to what I said, because my initial response was 100% of the time, which is true. But the caveat is when the woman is on your program. Okay. You don't have to take responsibility for someone who's not on your program. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like taking responsibility for some other kid fucking around at the park when it's not your kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not my job. Right. Go talk to their parents. That's not my kid. But that implies that the guy has a program. Right. Or you fellas, you got this paper mache shit going on. What's really going on here? So the caveat, there's a chain reaction, because it's like, well, if you don't have the program, then you can't really do the whole responsibility thing, right? You can't lead right. And then I was like, why don't you have the program? And then that extends into all the other personal, internal, deep shit that's connected to that. So really doing this right with the responsibility thing and the leadership and influence has a long string of prerequisites that extend into your like internal self, right? So if it's the internal self is fucked up, that's going to either prevent you from creating a program or having a fucked up program, which will result in shitty leadership and shitty influence, which will result in shitty outcomes.
Inconsistency. That's how inconsistencies happen. There's no foundation.
And it's not about putting your foot on, your boot or your foot on the woman's neck and keeping it there.
No.
What's better is she puts the boot on your foot, laces it up nice. She lays down on the ground and puts her head down, and then gently takes your foot and just places it on her
There
neck.
you go, Mr. Justin.
And she closes her eyes like this.
There you go.
She feels comfortable there.
It's about her humbly submitting, not you trying to obligate her to.
Right.
Exactly.
And this is a very fast way to see if your program is offbeat. That when you go to admit something and say, hey, you know what? This and this, and she does not take that with grace, then you already know whatever your program has not been working.
Right.
Because it should be taken how you take things. Then you got to reflect on how are you taking things.
Right.
Human beings are fallible.
If she says
you allowing her?
If you say to her, listen, I did this wrong, and we need to course correct. We need to do some shit. If she turns around and said, exactly, motherfucker, because I told you, and you like what?
You gotta get up out of
it. And you know, hey, this program,
I told you so.
You did not recognize you did not recognize the ugly in that beautiful creature.
Exactly. You missed the red flag.
You gotta learn how to recognize ugly earlier.
Like she started doing all of this shit and clapping in your face, like exactly.
Rolling her eyes or sucking her teeth.
Finally,
right. She still got it. She got to take your humility. She has to emulate your humility. You understand? She needs to.
Not only that, but she has to exhibit graciousness.
Yes.
Even when you admit that you're wrong, and here's the reality of it: if a woman adores you and respects you, that actually will have her respecting you more. Is that you can admit that, you know what, I fucked up. Going down this way ain't really gonna work. So this is what we gonna do. And the fact that you can admit it, that lets her know that you can spot it, right? Because ain't nothing weaker than a man who can't spot when he's making decisions that are leading to his own demise. Because a woman can't trust you. But when you can spot it before you reach the edge of the cliff, now the woman's looking at you, he gets it. He understands.
Facts. All right, guys, listen, that has been the Manhood is a Skill Set show. Make sure you guys go to masculineidentity.com to make sure you get your soap, and go to masculineidentitymembership.com to get with me with the Masculine Identity Membership. We have our Monday night Zooms every Monday. And anybody else got anything they want to plug before we get up out of here?
Oh yeah, I've hooked up my URL, and so again, I had to get away from Gumroad because they were blacklisting me. But it's still the dominanceacademy.com. If you guys want to learn how to create a program so you can actually say you have a program, get in touch with me. I have a whole setup on how to do that.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, like always, Zach, I appreciate being on here.
Yes, sir.
I will let everybody know I am coming. So, things are falling into place, and we'll go from there.
Put your safety glasses on.
I said what I said. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
On that note, there you go. You got to clean up a little bit. You can't be like, I'm coming. You got to be like, hey, it's in the works.
Anyway,
real quick, y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Okay. It's in the works.
It's loading. It's loading. Yeah.
I would agree with that. Okay. It's in the works.
It's in the works.
All right.
Said something. Okay.
There you go. So, real quick, for the guys that called in, hey, sorry for the the bullshit. Couldn't be helped, but we thank y'all for calling in. All the moderators, everyone that participated. Roman, Miles motherfucking Cunningham, Mr. Justin. Appreciate y'all being here today. Tomorrow, Real Game No Theory, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern. Come fuck with us. Until then, enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Take it easy.